Sometimes we need to struggle with the tragedy to feel the gravity of love. Love is what keeps us together and afloat.
Bravely addressing tragedies in society, Fred Rogers' revolutionary educational work in the television industry led to a triumph of communication with children. Rogers lovingly provided insight for young children as he bravely and nationally discussed personal and societal conflicts, teaching children they can triumphantly overcome tragedies within their lives. Raised in Latrobe, Pennsylvania in the 1930s, Fred Rogers had a difficult childhood. Bullied and ostracized, he struggled to express his emotions and communicate with those around him. Despite Rogers' struggles, he was able to overcome early tragedies of bullying, which would later translate positively into his television work.
My mom and dad didn't like me to bang when I was angry. But I found that if I played the piano when I was angry, they didn't mind that. So that's what I did. And then little by little I'd see that the music would be sounding less and less angry. So it seemed that the more I played, the more anger got out of me, and I felt better.
After high school, Rogers pursued a degree in music composition, graduating Rollins College in 1951 with plans to go to seminary. However, that summer, Rogers encountered his first television.
And I saw people throwing pies in each other's faces. And I thought, this could be a wonderful tool for education. Why is it being used this way?
Realizing the untapped potential of this medium, Rogers approached his local television station, WQED, proposing an educational show for children. In 1954, Rogers' dreams became a reality. WQED aired The Children's Corner. Simply addressing children's questions, the show was hosted by Rogers and co-host Josie Carey. Carey appeared on-screen while Rogers voiced puppets off-screen, choreographed music, and developed characters. The show lacked funding, but what they lacked in glamour, they made up in heart. Carey and Rogers dedicated their time to overcoming challenges, including unexpected breaks in film, simple sets, and audio problems. In addition to hosting Children's Corner, Rogers studied at the University of Pittsburgh, finishing seminary and completing his master's degree in child development and psychology. However, after 7 years of hosting and producing the show, Fred Rogers felt his work had become bland and was no longer impacting children in the way he had first hoped. Unsatisfied, Rogers quit the Children's Corner in 1961, seeking to repurpose material, including his beloved puppet, Daniel Tiger. As a result, Rogers struck a deal with the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC, in 1963, hosting a new show entitled Mr. Rogers, where he appeared on camera for the first time. The show was broadcast to families across Canada for 4 years. As time went on, Rogers quickly realized the need for educational programming in his own country. Leaving the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation in 1967, Rogers returned to Pittsburgh's WQED to premiere Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood in 1968. The show mirrored Mr. Rogers in several ways. Rogers started the show in his house, appearing to the children as himself instead of a character. While in his house, he spoke directly to the children, covering a new wonder each day. Rogers was honest with children, as he knew that in order to overcome problems confronting them, they needed to understand what they were facing. Adventure awaited viewers as Rogers took them throughout the neighborhood, visiting local establishments like the post office and music shop. In a separate set, though, Rogers used popular puppets and the neighborhood of make-believe to communicate complicated lessons. In contrast to other television shows at the time, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was plain and mirrored everyday conversations with children, seeking not to persuade children, but to help them grow as people.
He committed himself. He said, I am here for you.
Despite Rogers' simplistic perspectives, the world around the fictitious neighborhood began to change, surrounded by real-life social tragedies. In response to recent racial tensions, Rogers introduced a new character to his show.
Could we take a close look at your badge here, Officer Clemens? My friends, I think, can read it. Police.
I have always felt policemen to be the most dangerous person in the neighborhood. Though, to have me playing a police officer, I was tremendously hesitant. But there was something reluctant about Fred to let go.
Subtly, yet effectively, Rogers addressed the tragedies of racism and violence in our world, creating a radical new hope for children and adults alike. Compassion triumphs even amidst tragedy.
There's something I want to ask you. What does assassination mean?
Not only Senator Kennedy, oh my God, Senator Kennedy has been shot, and another man.
Well, it means somebody getting killed in a sort of surprise way. That's what happened, you know. That man killed that other man. A lot of people are sad and scared about it, you know.
Today, trouble under a noon sun. Negroes and white rabbis marched to a segregated hotel with these results.
Oh, there's Officer Clemens. Hi, Officer Clemens. Come in.
Rogers, how are you?
Fine. Won't you sit down?
Oh, sure. Just for a moment.
Manager James Brock told them to get off his private property, tossed cleaning chemicals inside the pool in an effort to get the Negroes to leave.
It's so warm, I was just putting some water on my face.
Oh, it sure is.
Would you like to join me?
It looks awfully enjoyable, but I don't have a towel or anything.
Oh, you share mine.
Okay, sure.
Fred Rogers did not only confront social barriers on screen, but also fought injustice off screen. In 1969, the Senate Subcommittee on Communications sought to review funding for public programming and consequently Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. In addition to other advocates, Rogers delivered a moving testimony May 1, 1969, explaining the significance of children's programming like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
We deal with such things as the inner drama of childhood. We don't have to bop somebody over the head to make drama on the screen. We deal with such things as getting a haircut, or the feelings about brothers and sisters, and the kind of anger that arises in simple family situations. And we speak to it constructively. This is what I give. I give an expression of care every day to each child.
Looks like you just earned the $20 million.
In 1976, after 8 years of filming, Rogers felt he had addressed the multiple timeless questions of children, and reruns could sufficiently continue his legacy in the children's television realm. As a result, Rogers decided to stop recording Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and create a new show entitled Old Friends, New Friends. Old Friends, New Friends featured difficult conversations with adults, where Rogers explored the complicated personal tragedies of a wide variety of individuals.
Suddenly, tragedy struck. Inspired by their brave hero, Rogers saw an epidemic of children imitating Superman, as incidents of children jumping off roofs in high places were frequent. Rogers realized that despite reruns of his show, children still struggled to understand the distinction between reality and pretend. As a result, Rogers returned to Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, addressing societal and children's tragedies each week, allowing for the triumph of compassionate education from 1979 to 2001.
After nearly 30 years of successful children's television, Fred Rogers passed away in 2003. His legacy lives on, and today, as a result of Rogers' pioneering work, public broadcasting stations feature a number of educational children's shows, including Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, a continuation of Mr. Rogers' most beloved character.
From his neighborhood to yours, Fred Rogers, child advocate, used the medium of television to bring social education to America's children. Rogers pioneered a new type of television, thoughtfully structuring his shows in a palatable and applicable manner which allowed children to comprehend complex social issues. Rogers' work and refusal to ignore tragedy led to the triumph of compassionate programming, hope in the midst of hardships, and a loving neighborhood.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you